Hey there, it's Vampire Logan here. I am doing another episode of my Vampire Logan Auspex. This is a show where I use my keen vampire insights into D&D and other gaming-related subjects. I called it Auspex because an Auspex was an ancient Roman official who acted as a soothsayer or priest, and was responsible for interpreting omens and to guide decisions. So I'm looking to sort of analyze things that are gaming related and see what we can find that we can use for our own games. And then also the Auspex word is in the Vampire the Masquerade game a discipline that grants vampires supernatural senses. So it has two meanings that I think are relatively appropriate here. Another announcement for my streaming is I'm now doing a charity drive for, well, my goal is to get to 100. I don't really have a plan for how long, but it'd be nice to get to there by the end of the year. My charity is the Children's Hospital, which is being done through Extra Life charity, and you can just click on a link in my about description, or you can find it in the tweet that I just tweeted out, or you can just go to my YouTube channel and it's in the description there as well, or watch this video later when I upload it there and I will have a link. Okay, so now one other thing I'd like to shout out my own D&D game that I run on every Tuesday. It's called it's a kind of ongoing story set in my own D&D homebrew world called Thordan, and we are on chapter 2 of a series called The Vengeance. I'm going to call it Vengeance Chronicles, I think, but the first chapter 2 is called Path of Vengeance. So we have some characters looking for someone who had caused them a bunch of problems, and they are trying to work that out and get their revenge. Currently, yeah, the next episode is going to be on Tuesday, December the, what would that be, 12, 13, 14th, December 14th, so coming up. And it will be they're in an arena right now, and they're fighting monsters and other gladiators, so the next game will be the monster fight, and that should be exciting. So we're going to see maybe 1 or 2 monster fights. And now today's topic, I've been trying to get caught up on Critical Role commentary. I had this plan when I started this this chat idea, as that I wanted to get all of the Critical Roles, do a commentary on each one every week, but I kept procrastinating and putting it off and realizing it's a fair bit of work to comment on a 4-hour video. So I did episode 1 last episode of this show, and it took about 2 to 2.5 hours to go through it, and I just clicked on every one of the clip links, which was a bit too much, and I wanted to do a bit more concise one this time, so I spent a bunch of time on episode 6, which I'm caught up to. It aired on Monday on YouTube, so I wanted to do the episode 6 one, but I want to do it a little bit more quickly and concisely, so I'm going to try that today, and if it's doable within an hour, I might keep doing this. If not, it might just be too much work, and I got a whole bunch of other ideas I want to have chats about, so I may just end it here. I'd like to go back and get caught up on 2 through 5, but seeing how long each one takes, and the fact that 7 is already out on Twitch, just means it's going to be a little bit hard to do that. I got a call, just hang on, I'll just do a break for a sec here. Alright, I'm back. I just had to do a little something for my wife there. So where was I? Where's my list? Right, so so I was going to try and do this one a little quicker and then see if I can go back and do the other ones even quicker, or just skip 2 through 5 and go from here, or maybe just talk about some other things, and if the show relates to something that I'm talking about, I might just do that. Anyway, let's just watch this. This is a funny one. So they get started.
And welcome to tonight's episode of Critical Role, where a bunch of us nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. Indeed. We do have some announcements to get through, so bear with us. The first is our first sponsor for tonight, NordVPN. Travis, take it away. Travis? Travis?
You're late for training number 2. Let's review the BBD, TLC, and Run DMC protocols.
What's the point, Master? I've been training for gigamonths and still haven't seen any hashtag Hacker 4TC10N. That spells action in leet speak.
I know what it spells, damn it!
Oh, sorry, hold up, what is this? Why does Travis look like a cross between Frankenfurter and a Blackberry Curve?
His handle is number 2. And I, Morpheus, have been cyber training him ever since the greatest hacker of the Pepsi generation, BlackWillow69 at AOL.com,
AKA Sam, the only man I've ever loved,
was turned into a gleaming cube of cake, and the cast used their hacker personas to defeat the Ultra Codex.
Hi, that was me.
Very cool, thanks for the recap. So, Travis, he's, number 2. He's got the hacker skills to protect the Ultranet from the crypto chaos or something?
Well, I do jack in with the power of NordVPN. Here, watch me drop dead Fred your tablet's BAPS protocol. Speed 0, Speed 1, Speed 2, cruise control!
NordVPN are providers of highest quality encryption for your internet traffic and hide your IP and physical location with 5,400 plus servers in 50 countries. It is easy to get better internet speed and protection with one simple click, and it is available on every major platform, including Windows, iOS, Android, and Linux. Go to NordVPN.com/criticalrole to get a 2-year plan plus a bonus gift with a huge discount.
Oh, wow! So you hacked my iPad with your hands?
Yeah, my virile virus skills don't matter. Morpheus is wrong. There is no threat. I'm Control-Alt-Deleting out of the program.
Negatory. You're too important, number 2. The fate of the world.
Hey, hold on. Can I have a hacker name, please?
No!
Okay, fine. Guess I'll just plug in my iPad since you juiced all the battery.
Whoa, Robbie, are you okay? Robbie!
I love this Matrix background. That is amazing.
Oopsie! Looks like I ganked your your new friend's body or something. I'm possessed, don't you get it? I spliced into his mind and now I control his body like a Fortnite no-skin. Observe! Why am I hitting myself? Oh, why am I hitting myself, you poor friend?
Oh, man, what a turd.
Who are you?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know, Boomer? I'm your worst nightmare, baby. I'm a troll that can't be stopped with your pathetic ones and zeros. Who am I? Oh, I'll tell you. Next time we get sponsored by NordVPN. Hack to you, Matt.
Whoa. Oh, yeah.
Even with the cup, that was pretty impressive.
Yes! Look at the background! Please put that on your reel.
And never work again.
What happened, guys?
You just missed it, Sam.
Late to the show.
Just missed it.
Robbie, you're great. I have some
awesome.
notes.
I figured, yeah.
And that is that. The ads, sometimes those are the best thing about the episode. Not true about this episode, though, because it was a good one. So, let me just talk about some of the other things. So I love those bits. Those are great. The NordVPN ones are the best. They're so cheesy in all the right ways. It's just amazing for them to come out with that hilarious content. And the hacker words he uses are just so outdated, like 80s hacker movie talk. It's just great. Let's see, we got that. Oh, and then there's another announcement that's amazing. Let's watch this clip.
On Gilmore statue from McFarland Toys.
Gilmore, now listen to
Look at him. He's 12 inches tall. He's beautiful. Anyway, he's also exclusive to our stores. And he'll be in all of our stores. So check your store. If it's not there right now, it might be there soon. It will be there soon.
He doesn't know anything about this.
A little distracted.
He's 12
inches.
tall. Next up. Oh, you're holding these up.
Anyway, I tweeted. They tweeted out. There's a thing that happens later in this episode where it's this next episode. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I tweeted out something that was pretty funny about that, so I'll show that tweet again later. You know what I found funny is you can't tweet. You can't look at your old tweets, or at least I can't find how. I tweeted something and I was waiting to see if anybody responded, and now I can't find the tweet. So maybe I gotta like mark it as my pinned tweet or something, but that's so weird. Anyway, let's get back to the critical role. I keep losing my window. I gotta put it somewhere where I can click it back. Let's put it over the corner here. Okay, and yeah, the Gilmore is 12 inches ... tall. That's great. And then later in the description here, they talk about koozies, which I had not heard that term before. We call them beer cozies, so, or just drink holders. But yeah, they have critical role drink holders now with the Strongjaw Ale theme. It's pretty cool. I was gonna say in this episode they still have just the placeholder theme song for the show, but I've already seen the first hour of episode 7, so that has been rectified. I may talk about that in this episode because I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one for... Well, I have to do at least another one for 7 because so many things have changed there. So, yeah, and then the next thing that happens in here is they're still trying to figure out their team name, and they're going through a lot of really bad team names. So nothing has stuck yet, and it's kind of an ongoing gag for this episode of them trying to get other NPCs to give them an idea to create their team name. And they want to use the word bells in there for Bertrand being the guy who brought them together, but I don't think that's going to fly. We'll see, though. They still haven't picked one by the end of this episode, so we don't know. Oh, and before I go too much further, I guess I should say this is a spoiler alert. I'm talking about and showing things from episode 6, and I may talk about things from episode 7, that at least the first hour, which I know. So if you haven't seen 6 or 7, you should probably watch them before watching this. Where are we at?
Can't even see him.
Yeah. Would you like some coffee or something?
If you are making coffee, of course, please.
Well, is there someone I can ask?
Could you make us some coffee? And the hooded figure kind of like
And
looks back
probably
over
enough for all of us would be great.
knocks over and starts setting up.
That is some balls. So yeah, she asked for so this scene is in they have made it to Oh, I missed a couple of things here, so let me backtrack. So we did the inter-party whisper for the first time, I believe. And then they talked about the creepy Bertrand doll that Laudna made for Dorian. It's like made out of like chicken bones and stuff like that. So she hands it to him, and he's like hesitant and doesn't really know what to do with it. And then Dorian leans on her shoulder at another point. And she has like a little. She dislocates her shoulder to show that she's not quite alive. And then there's another scene between Liam and Laura where they role play together a little bit about her, what he can do to help with her not being able to drown out the mines, and what the party can do. And she says that they are cool, and that the better she gets to know them, the easier it is. And then after that, Liam says to Laura, "Thanks for role playing with me," and they have a little moment, and because I guess they haven't done much in the previous campaign like they used to with the twins, so I thought that was really cute that they had those, reminiscing feelings when they started to do role playing between each other. That was cool. And so then after that, they go meet with the Corsairs. They're still early in the morning, so Yash, who is definitely not the leader of the Corsairs, but probably the leader, he is just getting up and going through his morning routine. He does a little bit of stretching with the group and gets them involved, and then iterates again that he is not the leader, but he totally is. And then Fern asks for the coffee and then makes them make it, which is just so ballsy a move. And she's just such a understated character, like most of Ashley's characters, but in another way she's the most animated of her characters, because she's, in the past, she hasn't been able to play all the way through a campaign and get all the sort of backstory and long time of like building rapport with the characters that she's been playing with the rest of the group. They've built rapport with her character, but mostly through Matt playing her as an NPC. So the thing with her work, she was an actor on Blind Spot, and so she was away for parts of most of the first campaign, and then it still continued into the second campaign. And so at a certain point she was living in I think London or something, and she was away for the whole like a few months worth of episodes that she could not make it to. So they wrote her out as being taken over by her former master, who was a mind controller kind of guy. And so he took over her and made her do a bunch of evil things. And then when she came back, she had to kind of role play through that. So she was kind of quiet and took a while to get out of her shell. I think near the end, her character was very interesting, but it took a long time when she came back to do that. So this is nice to see that she can do that with this character right off the bat, and get really into it. She's loving the kind of rascally character that Fern is. So I think that's kind of the reason why Matt is giving her so much leeway with the stealing. And she's been lucky, so I guess there's no reason to punish a player when they're doing something then getting away with it, using their abilities. But it does come up in another way in a few minutes here, where I'm going to click on that. Oh, I don't want that. I want this. So after she gets the coffee, Ashton establishes his language issues and has tons of F-bombs in a conversation with the Corsair guy. And then they talk about some rumors about Esteros that the Corsairs have. Then they talk about money and Dorian and how they don't like people with money, they tend to be corrupt. So they're a bit of the Robin Hood types, but they're also pretty roguish. So a little more than Robin Hood would be. They're more politically motivated. And then Fern says she wants to join the club, which is quite funny. Let's see if we can jump to it here.
Falling out of a hole.
Yeah. And he was in a hole, and he was kind of.
Oh yeah, they're talking about the guy that they killed. Anyway, yeah, she does that. I think it's interesting for her to like say that she wants to join the club, but then they say you have to follow their ideals, and then she doesn't much care for that. Oh, you'll see a bit of it in this. So we're talking about doing Ashton got a package, and they want to see it, so Imogen wants to do a roll off with him to
spend it all on rollies.
All I was gonna say was
high rolls on rollies.
rollies. That wasn't it. I can't do impressions. Hey, this is my Christopher Walken.
Oh
boy, yeah, that tastes nice.
Actually sound like
That's your backup character right there.
backup character of a bad Christopher Walken imitation. That could be fun. All right, and then they go past that. Oh, they get the do we get the? Okay, yeah, maybe it's just.
He is an amazing baker, is what I was gonna say.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually can't confirm
Yeah.
that.
Oh, they're talking about
Well,
rooms.
we have to set up some sort of competition with
Talking
our
about
very
extra
own
roast.
Shadow Bakery Free there one day.
Oh, I never ate that damn thing he gave me.
The purple.
I paid for it.
The purple pastry.
Do you think it's stale by now?
It's
Yes.
probably fine. Let me reach in my bag.
It's a little stale.
Fuck.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
if
not
you-
like wrapped in plastic or anything.
Let me see it. If we see the
You want to try it?
if we see the shadow baker, then we'll get some more.
It still tastes decent. It's just a little harder.
That's
I ate
fine.
one bite. I'll take a
That's
bite.
fine.
You can have it, Orm.
God damn it. Half the size of my head.
But good to know that. Is an unexpected purveyor of baked goods. That is interesting information. Thank you.
Oh, did you give something valuable away? I told him that he is an excellent baker, so I gave him some pretty great information.
Anyway, if you'd like us to set up a meeting or something, just let us know.
Is he interested in meeting? What would a strange recluse like him have any business with us for?
He certainly wouldn't tell us.
I get the impression that he wants to do good in this city, and he thinks that you also do.
I think anyone who lives a life of inherited money wants to. Their full body kind of, leather instead of leather armor, the kind of light gray cloak and hood.
Just go.
And just like rushes off to the other corner of the room and just sits down and kind of watches quietly from a distance. Almost seems to the somewhat broad and intimidating form that they cut within the chamber is diminished into almost a child in timeout. Well, I am not against having a conversation with your wealthy patron to remove him from the equation. You're all staying at the Spire by Fire, yes?
At the moment?
Yeah.
Amongst other places.
Amongst other places.
It's a good place to start.
Well, we'll find you when we have come to an accord and are ready, if at all, to have such a conversation with your lord.
How does one become a part of this club?
The
That's what I
club.
was talking about before.
Organization.
No. I like it. I like it. We'll call it a club. If you wish to join this club, you have to do some illegal things. You have to go through some trials of trust building. You have to put your neck on the line for our interests and values and show that you are willing to give everything for what we are willing to give everything for. And you will either wind up arrested and at the mercy of the quorum with no information to incriminate any of us, or show that you have some skill, show that you have the means of completing the things you promise, and be willing to give what is at your disposal to share amongst the rest of us, to share amongst the rest of them. And he gestures to the greater city around.
Oh, well, that's where I draw the line.
Well, then, perhaps this is not meant to be a business element here. But we believe in those who are capable. Interesting way to start my day. Pours it through, and sure enough, you hear.
Okay, so he's pouring the coffee.
Fresh grass in your cup.
And I'll say that last bit for me. You are a fascinating piece of machinery, my friend.
I agree. Well,
How do you feel?
a little warmer.
Oh.
Interesting.
Is he okay?
I don't know. Are you okay?
I think so.
Perfect. All right. Get the fuck out.
All right.
Thank you so much.
He's a famous.
Wait, he said that he's not the leader, but all those other guys just.
All right, and then they go. That's when they go to find out about some more about the anger. I think they found out about him from this guy. He was injured in an attack. I believe this anger is going to be Travis's character. He was injured in an attack which killed the Limbus twins, noble house leaders, and was their bodyguard. So before he worked for them, he was a merc in the town, and he used to shut down problems in the city when they rose. So he's a bit of a do-gooder, but also like feared by the underground. Okay, and then they get to another. They go back to where Ashton stays, and then they get into a jam battle with the resident there named Annie Otta. And she is kind of a reluctant, she's a bard, but she wants to work at the theater that they're going to go to later. But every time they ask her about going there, she doesn't think she's prepared enough. But then Dorian comes in and he says he's a bard and he's well known and he's traveled and he's been around. And so she gets a little bit jealous and challenges him to a jam battle. And Dorian...
just hang back the whole time. He really feels like a spokesman.
I know he feels like a...
He does something I haven't seen in a while.
Okay.
Spends it all on rollies.
All I was gonna say was
high rolls on rollies.
That's that one again. Is it this one?
All right, you're good. He's good. He's
all
good.
right.
Andy,
Not better
are
than
you
me.
okay?
Are you okay?
Could you tell us?
Are you okay?
Oh,
okay?
no!
Are you
So, I guess I must have missed the one with he rolls a natural 20. They get all excited about it. And then after the battle, he basically wins the music battle, and she says, "Yeah, he's good." And then she goes to leave, and then they say, "Are you okay, Annie?" Talking about the Michael Jackson song, also covered by Alien Ant Farm. And then we get this.
He feels like a leader.
You should just own it.
Well, that wasn't a strikeout, but we don't have any actionable intel.
We made the connections, so...
I wonder what note Ashley's writing down right now.
FCG is also a thermos.
Okay. Good to note.
Trouble.
I'm not against it.
What if we can be the Troubles?
Yeah, so their attempt to find a name.
Okay, Annie.
No.
Now, Annie storms out. Slams the door behind. Opens up and he goes like, someone dropped something for you in your room.
Oh.
And slams it again.
Hopefully it's not a death threat. I'm gonna go into my room.
That was amazing! Anything, it was all you guys! It was the stage work, it filled me with confidence.
It was great.
What was that thing you did? That
I just wanted you to, you know, grab the bull by the dick, you know?
I did. I grabbed that. I did.
Well, I mean,
you're about to say I grabbed that.
They're gonna really know it if you grab them by the dick, right?
Yeah. Right. Is that the same?
That's the same world.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the assist. Yes.
Yeah,
Grab that dick
hard
together.
to piss her off, but you did a really good job regardless.
I wasn't trying to. I wanted to.
No, it's super easy to do, but wow.
It's fun.
She appreciated it.
And she's very good.
No, she's very good.
All right. Cats. All right, so grabbed by the dick. That's great. Then they go see this creepy informant named Ephid, who is some kind of bird creature. I looked it up and I've never heard of that creature, so it must be a new thing in Matt's world. Fern makes an awkward comment about saying he reminds her of Dr. Nesbit, which is some bird pet that somebody has. Anyway, then we get this clip of so that thing that he picked, the package he picked up in his room was some information about his life. And
what'd you roll?
17.
They do rollies.
Fuck, I did too.
So Imogen can check it
That's the
out.
third time we've rolled the same.
Any of you's played this game knows this shit happens all the time.
A compromise.
Rollies is a mysterious number of things.
Are you redacting things?
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Love it.
Ashton, you're redacting all of it.
That's what you get for a tie. Compromise. No one's happy.
I have an 8 when you are ready.
An 8?
Yep.
Like the number 8?
Suppose so.
Wow, you really did redact it. I can't tell what that says.
Nope.
What if you hold it up?
Yeah.
And get like a...
Don't try to subvert his...
It's a perfectly reasonable subversion. Would not fight it.
Proud of that.
I'll see if that pans out into anything, but that will require some private time. So that's not something I can bring people to.
You usually don't bring people to private time.
Yeah, because then it wouldn't be private time. That's hilarious. Alright, so then they go to Esteros and check up with him. He's having breakfast, so there's some more role-playing of eating there, which is a lot of stuff they're doing in this season. So they mentioned to him about the Corsair hookup. He can maybe talk to that. They tell him about the rumors. He gets very offended when they mention the one which suggests Madame Pradosh, that he murdered her and took her home. She gave it to him in her will, so he definitely reveres this person, whoever it is. And then they talk about the Loomis twins and the Anger, whose real name is Oshad. And that, I think, is where they find out that they've been killed by what sounds like to me the same thing that got that tried to get Keyleth, and there's some link between Keyleth and these twins. Someone who Keyleth knows these guys and has gone back and forth. So there is a link with all this stuff going on. And then after that, they go to Shadana's house, which is the house that Imogen and Laudna are staying at. And they have a great little a visit with this wonderful old lady that
faint smell
Matt
of
does a great
like
voice
cooked fruit, like something that has been
So they come
either
up to the door and
fried
smell this
or
cooked
slowly
fruit.
heated, and it just has this kind of gentle sweetness to it.
Oh, Shadana!
Hold on. You hear ping, 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 ping.
Oh.
No! Dang it!
Oh, well, I just go in and make sure she's okay.
You look over and there's like a pot on the ground and there's a few spilled what looks like some sort of a roasted and steeped like a plantain or banana type fruit.
So I don't know why he's the type of DM that likes to throw in flavor into everything. So he throws in something that, as a DM myself, I would probably not even bother with, but he throws in this stew that she's making, which probably just occurred to him on the spot. What would an old lady be doing on her own when they approach? So he probably thought to himself, I need one thing to make this character memorable and interesting. So he throws in this basically fruit cocktail that she's making. And that is just his DM style. He just does things like that, puts in flavor, unimportant flavor, to make everything seem more realistic. So they have this encounter with her, and she does, like most DMs would just say, like, okay, she has some information, you can do the voice or not do a voice, you can describe things a little bit in detail, and then give the information to the players and move the story. But they don't do that. That's not how they play. They play in a way that savors every single role-playing experience chance. And so if they get a chance to play with this NPC, every NPC that Matt creates is interesting and fun to interact with, because he always makes sure that he has his NPC fleshed out and named and has like a few notes. So his notes for her probably say, friendly old woman, used to be a seamstress or something, or a yarn maker, or whatever the thing she knits sweaters or something like that, and also makes jewelry. So she had a bunch of other things. She's on her own now. These two girls are helped her with a problem, so they're friends. And she has a old woman accent, so they seem to really appreciate Matt's voice in that one.
As well, some other leaves and such that are kind of spilled onto the ground. She's picking them up.
No, I'll clean this up.
Oh, don't worry, I can handle it.
No, you should go over. Go meet the friends.
We have company. Is it all right?
That's wonderful.
All right. A big group. Brace yourselves. Come in.
And another thing, he acts with his whole face. Like, I don't think I do that when I'm playing an NPC. His face, his eye, like, watch this.
As you all walk in, you see this delight, and the kind of gentle breeze is coming through as the more.
Go meet the friends.
We have company. Is it all right?
That's wonderful.
All right.
He
A big
looks around
group.
like he can't see
Brace
very well.
yourselves. Come in.
And
as you all walk in, you see this delightfully sweet smile on this elderly woman, darker, deep brown, tan, wrinkled skin from just life and sun and vibrancy, gray, nearly white hair entirely that is right now just kind of let past the shoulders into this steadily spreading kind of boisterous tangle of hair that goes to about her mid-back. You guys are used to seeing her having it like pinned back, but now it's just kind of let down and it kind of billows out behind and frames the shoulders.
He describes every character, every NPC that way, pretty much. And these are just the people that the people are staying with. So he would describe the innkeeper that way. He describes like every NPC they're going to spend a little bit of time interacting with. So this scene takes quite a while out of the episode, and that's just the pace they like to go. Now, advice for DMs not trying to recreate the Critical Role experience, I would make this visit a fairly quick one, because unless your players are really huge into the roleplay, but if they're not and they just want to kind of do the story and get to the adventure and get to the fights, then make this one shorter. Make her still interesting as a character, but like, skip skip ahead to the part that they care about. So maybe make her ask them more questions about what they want, or offer suggestions a little more quickly as to what they're asking. But yeah, that's how they play.
So quite a possibility Shadon is actually a secret spy.
That's quite funny.
If you use the same dishcloth to clean up different
Ads. Go away, ads. There we go.
Shadonna, do you have a straw?
You never know.
I don't think she's a
Do
secret
you have a
spy.
straw?
So,
Like a wooden with it that's hollow?
Hold on. And she goes and takes a stirring stick that is hollow in the center and goes, "This could function."
That will work. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just take it.
just takes it. You didn't expect that.
I love fruit so much. I love it so much.
Jazz is chaos.
Jazz is chaos.
All right, tell us.
Okay, all right, we're in the bedroom. We're in the bedroom.
Okay, so they wanted to go into a separate room. Orem wanted to tell them something.
Tight space. This chamber is like
very tight.
It's like 10 foot by 8 foot.
It's quite funny because he wants
So
to
when you
be.
guys are all in there, you're all
Wait 3 days,
you're all
eat fruit soup until we get
Yup, straight up.
Squished up on the bed. eating
Epic
fruit
high
soup.
fantasy adventure right here. Retirement fruit soup in a tiny bedroom. Let's go.
In a grandma house. In a fucking grandma house. We're in a tiny bedroom in a grandma
Doilies
house.
everywhere. But while
That's
we're here, we can
critical
show you
role
the
for you.
hole
Those
under
kind
the
of
bed.
things.
Oh yes, this is the hole. Let's just pull it out. Look at that, it's a hole.
What did you want to tell us?
Okay,
Roll
sorry.
number 3.
Here's the hole. Keep going. What's the deal?
Okay, so we're crammed in here. We're all having fruit cocktail. Everyone's got doilies. There's lace everywhere,
Dish,
plus
bish.
pottery. All right, so Orem would look out the window at the city for.
There's no window.
There's nothing.
It's just
This
a
is
tiny
fucking
hole of a
closed
bedroom.
space.
All right.
You can look down into the hole if you want. That's the only
He's
thing.
trying to
Give me
be
a minute.
dramatic.
Deep into the
Leave me
anus of
alone.
the city.
Then if there's no window, then Orem
A fireplace
looks
mantle, maybe?
looks at Dorian and Fern for a second.
Anyway, he tries to be more dramatic because he's doing a scene, and that's fine. But yeah, this whole thing could have. I mean, they didn't even need to go here. Like, what are they going? Why are they going there? We could have just had the conversation in the place where they were at in the first place. So, in order to because this, look how long this episode is. It's already like 3 hours, and they've done a bunch of backstory, like reveal up to here, and then through here they've only been like gathering information. This has taken like 2 hours of gathering information. That could have been if you're trying to run a little bit more tight campaign, and I do try to run mine a little bit tighter because I want to progress the story in a way that is a little more digestible than Critical Role. I want it to be, you watch, my first season of or my first chapter of my story was 8 episodes, and you can get caught up on that. The chapter 2 starts, and it's basically continues from the first chapter, but you could start at chapter 2 and it would be fine. You wouldn't miss much because it was just the characters role playing together and getting kind of used to each other and doing a scripted module as well. In chapter 2, it's my own story from scratch with the backdrop of where they started in the first chapter. So I'm trying to get that one. Well, it's looking like it's going to go a little longer because the combats are taking longer than I thought. But it was supposed to be another 8 episodes, but it's going to probably go about 11 or 12. So that's, and then they're going to be probably level 5 they're 5 now, and they're probably going to be level 6 by the end of that. So I'm trying to get them up. These guys have played 6 episodes, and I think they're They started at 3 and now they're 4. So, you know, your progression will vary however much you want it to be. I try to keep it. I was going to just use milestones like they use, but I decided to not use milestones because I have a lot of players dropping in and dropping out and not showing up for episodes. So my core 2 are usually there, so I wanted to give them a reward that the others don't just get just because they happen to be there in the episode when we do leveling up. So I switched to XP tracking, and I actually like it better because I can give someone more rewards for better role playing and stuff like that, which you wouldn't do in a show like this because they're all together. They're all competent role players. They take turns. They're very considerate, and you know, my players are also considerate, but they want to keep things moving, and they don't want to spend a lot of time on minute role playing. These guys role played like when they left the house for like 10 minutes on what groceries they were going to buy for her when they returned. And it was just like they were joking around, but like that's what they like to do. So I like to keep it a little bit moving a little bit faster. But you know, your mileage may vary. You can do whatever you want. But I'd try to keep the game going. And that's not a criticism. That's just a different choice. Okay, let's get back to what I was talking about. So after they do their exposition, this is basically where Orym tells about what happened with Keyleth, and a bit about how it ties into the anger. And then the next thing they do is head to the Dreamscape Theater because they had heard that some people had gone missing there. But my favorite part about that interaction is the kind of out-of-game stuff they're doing there, which is this.
I've never even been in a building like this.
Here at Olympic, we're all about good nature, good people, and good organic.
Okay. The largest you've ever played.
Nothing like this, ever. It's amazing. I'm kind of just excited for the show, but I know we have things to do, but I'm excited for the show. Can I be both? Is that all right?
Is this like a Lord C or Lord D? Like how many seats?
Dude, does it still exist? What's the equity contract? Is it $768 a week?
Boy, this is the group for this event. I don't know if anybody else can appreciate what's happening as much as this group can.
So these are all
a few guys
actors.
out there.
They've been to the theater.
All the theater kids are watching.
Oh yeah.
How many seats in the house?
Roughly at a quick glance, you'd say probably in the neighborhood of 200 and 250. It's not massive.
I want to go back to the theater.
Oh, it's tiny.
Yeah.
Well,
by
okay. By comparison.
So
Look up.
they're comfortable. They're not like tight, you know, like packed modern theater seats. Like every seat is somewhat comfortable and spread out a bit in the space.
Style.
Yeah.
So like room at the front for.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd say like actually including the very, very back row, which is a little more just scattered stools and stuff, there's probably additional 100 seats beyond that that are just like, you know, uncomfortable wooden stools to sit on. But the actual seats you see are
theater,
probably about 250.
Old school, you
It's
gotta
not a
rent
little
the
more
pillow.
than that.
Yeah, is it, how are the ceilings? Can I see? Is there a grid?
That your face. That's a great pause. This also reminds me of when we went on a trip through Scotland, Ireland, and the UK, and then over to Paris through the tunnel, and we stopped in was it Stratford upon Avon, or Avon, or however you pronounce it, and there was the Globe recreation theater of Shakespeare's actual original theater, and so they had the cheap seats, the penny seats, and so there was like a place where the people would just stand, and then there was like hard wooden benches where the people who paid would go, and then there wasn't really any comfortable seats, but you could pay for a cushion under your butt. So the rich people had the cushion. But yeah, it was aligned pretty good so that people could see, but it was a very small, cramped space. This theater is probably a little bit bigger than that. and I think that the globe could only fit about 100 people or so. But it was really cool to see sort of a medieval style theater, and then people were doing. We didn't get to. Actually, did we go? I think we saw a show there. It wasn't comfortable, but it was definitely good to watch. I can't remember if we saw a show there or if we just saw it at a regular theater. Anyway, we saw some stuff. It was cool. But yeah, this is the kind of theater they're talking about.
There is.
Is there a catwalk? Can people come in Phantom of the Opera style?
They've been running Phantom, so there's a giant chandelier. Still swaying from the previous performance.
Yeah. And just like Phantom, the cast has done it 600 times, and you can tell it's just not into it. They are just fucking over and ready to jump into a river.
This I swear by the stars.
Oh no. Anyway, there is no grid, but you do see there are.
And a grid would be a modern convenience of having like actual like lights up there and electricity wiring and stuff in the grid. So in a fantasy setting, there would be no grid. So that's why he's saying
2 upper platforms in each like far end. A little bit back and above the box above where you are, where you can see there are individuals holding some sort of like tubed arcane device that has like a faint glow at the tip. You're uncertain what it's used for.
Yeah.
T-shirt cannon first.
Roll to attack.
T-shirt's gonna fuck with your AC, man. I can't put that on.
All right.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right, I think I'm pretty much ready to wrap it up here. So the only other thing that happens here before the end of the episode is that they have this overly complicated plan to get in that they end up abandoning and just buy tickets. And then Dorian kind of overpays for the tickets and pays 10 platinum, which they kind of freak out about, but that's only 100 gold. So I think the fee that they had already said was... it wasn't that far off. Let's just do this. Sometimes people forget that they think platinum is worth way more, but let's just get to the oh yeah, they have this line too.
I'm within.
You know, if you volunteer as an usher, you can see it for free.
Yeah.
Oh my god, definitely.
Standing room only.
No experience with it.
Wow.
It's too real.
Just a thing I heard.
And used to do, I'm sure.
Should I check on tickets?
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Is there a ticket booth? Ticket window?
As you not deeper into the theater in the actual main performance chamber, it's for the idea that this is a halfling individual. But you see him, he has a very, very well-trimmed beard that is tight to his, somewhat thin face and features.
Descriptions, man.
His hair is definitely like combed at a unique kind of swish of an angle. It gives it almost like a thin, artistic presentation of what would be considered the general aesthetics of the city around you. And as you kind of make eye contact with him, he glances over to you with arms open.
Oh, yes, hello. Is this where you purchase tickets for the show?
If you have not already purchased a ticket for the afternoon, a matinee performance, you may purchase them here, yes.
Okay, how much are they?
Where do you wish to sit? There are 3 sections which you can purchase. Seats are available. The matinees are not quite as busy this day, but if you would like the front stage seating arrangement, that would run about 10 gold per seat. If you prefer
so
the
10 gold per seat. So you got like 7 people here, 70 gold.
Kind of middle region of it, about a gold per seat. And if you would like the challenged back seats, those will run you about 2 silver a seat.
You might want to rethink their section.
Is there? I know.
Are there any?
Are there any seats like box seats that overlook the rest of the audience as well?
There are, but I believe they are currently sold out for the matinee. My apologies.
Could we... Okay.
Do you need any ushers?
No, I think we're fine, but thank you.
You volunteer. All right, okay.
We're good, thank you.
All right.
What about for the evening performance?
Oh,
Let's jump to Dorian's
Are you
bribe.
sure they're sold out? And I'm gonna reach into my coin purse and I'm gonna pull out 10 platinum.
Oh! Wait a minute. How much fucking money do you have? You have 10 fucking platinum?
All right. Just he pulled 10 platinum, and he looks at you strangely, and then his eyes go wide.
Oh, I'm sorry. There must have been a mistake. There is.
So, I don't know if everybody realized, but if they spent 10 gold per the seat at the front row, would have been 70 gold, and then so they're paying 100 gold for a booth. Not that far off, but what happens after they agree to that?
Yeah, it's not like they were gonna
does this.
Okay, good to know.
I really love your jacket.
Oh no.
Thank you.
Oh no.
Oh no, everybody's. She's gonna do.
I'm gonna try to take the 10 platinum out of his pocket.
Whoa. Make a sleight of hand.
My God.
This is dumb.
I love dumb.
God. Oh, God.
Dirty 20.
Oh, dirty 20.
He doesn't roll.
As you lean in and kind of like grab the ropes.
Lovely lapel.
Oh, thank you so much. It's part of the attire for the establishment. But it is not for sale. He takes it and like tugs it back.
Of course not.
It is our presentational aesthetic, if you will.
Oh, just so well made.
Well, thank you. Well, given the fact that you are patrons of the arts to a certain degree, if you wish to find the name of the individual responsible for making these fine garments, I could pass that to you before the end of the show tonight.
Oh, I would love that.
I'll go ahead and ask around.
Oh, thank you so much.
But nevertheless, hello, Siran. Could you please show our guests to the lower right box, as they are our esteemed guests and patrons for the night?
Thank you.
You see as a dragonborn comes from through the curtain. Looks like an older dragonborn, like the scaled brows are droopy on the eyes a bit, and the snout kind of drags a bit. It's kind of like dark blue scales that kind of go to like a lighter blue at the tips of the snout.
Descriptions again.
And yeah, very much like a dragonborn basset hound, and kind of comes through and says, "Okay, I'll show you to your box."
Thank you.
And kind of like shuffles past and leads you on, wearing a similar garb, though shorter, not quite as long as the halfling as you pass by. You do recover 6 platinum.
Okay. I wasn't gonna take all of it. So this is good. Okay. Great. Great.
Save them up.
Fuck. Yeah.
From doing that.
The low roll, you might have found something that wasn't the platinum.
You'll notice that Fern keeps it. He doesn't tell anybody that she stole it back.
You like working here?
So that's Fern. Anyway, they get in there, they get to their box, and then Dorian's brother appears and asks him to come down. They get all nervous. They give the sending stone to Dorian. When he goes down there, he talks to his brother, Cyrus Wyvern Wind, and then they he comes back, and they are relieved that he wasn't assaulted. He doesn't tell them about his brother. He only says that it was a fan of his career. So that's a bit interesting, why he wouldn't want them to know about that. And they also reveal something that happened with his family. So let's just back this up a little bit.
We should.
After.
All right.
Yeah, so something had happened with their family, and that he had gotten out, and they had gotten out. So
They saw me play and saw me up in the seats, and they were wondering if I was part of the show.
Yeah, so he tells that story.
Falls into silence. Beyond the music playing, as you all
ends
adjust
before
your
they
positions,
see
look
the
out
theater.
over. Dorian, you just can't help but be lost in thought. As we finish there for the...
Damn it.
The thing is, if they had finished, like if they had just rushed through some of those other less important scenes, they could have probably had the actual theater show for this episode. But I suspect that Matt actually didn't have anything prepared, because he said that the show was the flying, I don't know, flying something or others, and that show was what was going to be going on that day. And it did not sound, even by that, like, you know, a play or anything. So I don't think he was just going to describe out a play. And when he describes it out in the next episode, which I've already seen the first part of, it's definitely not what you would expect. So we'll cover that in the next episode walkthrough. But there's only one more thing I want to end with.
I'm just going to sneak one last little detail in there, and that is that as soon as Dorian gets back, Orem untenses his hand and realizes how hard he's been gripping Sending Stone. And then shoves it back into his back.
You got it. We'll pick up from there next week at the Dreamscape Theater.
So that is nice that he shows how he cares. I mean, that's Liam's style. He always shows how much he cares about the other characters in interesting and well thought out ways that aren't just verbal. So he's great at that. He's great at acting interactions with the other players, and I love that early in the episode he thanks Laura for role-playing with him, because he is such a good acting partner. I'm sure that him thanking them is kind of like quite funny, because he is I'm sure he is a great acting partner to play a scene with. He always gets really into the gravitas of the character and showing the strong emotions that they feel. So it's interesting he's playing a character that is very reserved this time, because he was so I mean, I guess he always kind of plays a reserved character, or a character who keeps his emotions hidden, and then comes out at certain times to make it more dramatic. So in that way, in that respect, he's kind of the same as his other two characters. But he seems a little different because he's not as flamboyant as Vax, and he's also not as hot and cold as the way Caleb was, where when he was fighting he was very aggressive and into the combat, and then when he was interacting with people he'd be very awkward and nerdy. So this character is sort of a middle ground between those two, and I hope that we see more of him come out of his shell, so that we can see some more active participation from Liam, because he's one of the great dramatic actors of the group. He'll occasionally throw something in for the humor, but he leaves that to the others to kind of initiate. And even in Exandrian Limited, he was kind of the voice of reason character, or the moral conscience character, so that's a good one for him to do, being that kind of thoughtful actor. I think I'm gonna end this episode here. I got a couple more notes I want to say about just what you can learn from this as a player and as a DM. So the first thing is just Critical Role in general is definitely an ideal to strive for if you want that kind of game where it's very role play heavy, very player interaction heavy, but you don't need to play this way to get something out of this. So one of the things that you can use from here is when the team, like, you don't have to role play a whole bunch of stuff to say that to show that you care about the other characters. You can do that in combat as well. You can basically say, if your character is, a defensive character or a tank or something, you can show that you care about the other characters by interposing yourself in between them, standing up for them when they get attacked. If you have a particular favorite in the group, you can focus your healing on them first and then the other characters. There's lots of ways you can do the kind of thing they do about making a good group and a caring group, and build up the emotional content kind of in, I would say, like, in the background. If you don't feel like you've got the acting chops to kind of like look at your friend and say, I care about you, or I love you, or anything like that, or you don't want to do, touch on romance or anything between the characters, you can do that subtly without role playing or acting it out, just by your character's choice of actions, even in combat or out of combat, like just making sure that they're always protecting the person, or always showing something that indicates their feelings, and you never need to culminate that with anything. You don't need to finally have an emotional moment with another character. They can just know that, and if you want to do the thing like I'm doing, or I'm doing a show, the show doesn't need to do that either. We don't need to have this kind of very carefully orchestrated player interactions. You can just have it be the way it is. It's implied. It never needs to be mentioned, so you can do that. You can do this kind of thing without doing this kind of thing that they do. You don't need to be a good voice actor to do a good backstory. You don't need to be a good voice actor to be yourself when you're your character, and show that you care in other ways about the other characters, or other players even. So you'll notice that even Liam, who does excellent voices, has chosen a fairly easy voice to do for Orem. Sam, he definitely makes things hard for himself by doing this text and drawl thing, but he likes to make a laugh. So whatever he does, he'll make it funny. Laura has excellent accents, but this character, she's chosen a southern accent and a very understated one, so that she can be kind of the shy character. I think, as I said before, she did that probably to Jester was such a prominent character in the previous one. I think she wanted to step back a little and let the others have some more of their kind of the stage, I guess. And all of these, you got to remember, all these guys are actors. They all want to have their time to shine, in the time in the front stage. It shows how much they care about each other as people to know that they let each other do that. If you had seen some of the season 1 episodes where they or Camping 1 episodes where they had Orion still there, he was a scene stealer. I don't know if he consciously knew it. He definitely had some other problems going on in his life, but he definitely tried to make a lot of the things about the scenes he was in about him, and sometimes he would try to steal things that should have been for another character to be about himself. He definitely had a lot of insecurity issues. These other characters don't, or these other players don't. New guy Robbie, he definitely fits in with the group, like as if he'd been there for many years. He is a natural with them, and I really hope that they keep him, because the more I see of him, the more I like. In fact, I didn't even really like his character too much in Exandria Unlimited. Like, it was okay, it wasn't great, but with this character in this group, he has way more chemistry with this group than he did with the other, except for, of course, Matt's character, which was Dariax. They had a lot of interaction, but it would be interesting to see if Matt brings that in as an NPC. But yeah, you can do this without being a great actor or a great voice actor. So think about the choices your character makes and use that to inform the other players and your DM and your audience, if you have one, what your character is about and what they care about. Just use your actions. And then on the DM side, like things you can learn from Matt. You don't need to be able to do a million voices like he can. I try, but I realize I'm not as good as I think I am at these things. Or at least when I come across on camera, I don't play it up as much. I also have a condition of not being able to be too loud here, as my family's usually sleeping. But the thing that you can do that Matt does is know when to step in and step out. So there's a scene back earlier where they were getting wrapped up with I could probably show it here. They were getting wrapped up with describing the shopping list.
We'll bring back some produce.
Thank you. Potatoes?
Potatoes!
If you don't mind.
Writing it down. Potatoes. Are you almost out of eggs?
So there's step one, getting out of control.
Oh, I ate all the bread.
Bread
Getting
as
out of
well.
control again.
Potatoes.
You're so kind. Thank you.
Pick up more plantains as well.
All right.
He's thinking as a DM, like,
plantains.
Okay.
But okay.
It's not.
Maybe we'll mix it up. We'll see what's on in the market.
We can continue to roleplay the shopping list.
No.
There it is.
I mean, that voice.
See, in a nice way, he brings the team back to the task at hand. They could have probably gone on for another 10 minutes about doing this. But he says straight out, you could keep role-playing the shopping list, or we could continue on. And he could have also done that with some of the Shadana scenes, but I think they were all enjoying themselves, so he knew that this is what this group likes to do, so let it happen. But he also knows that this group will keep doing this forever until you stop them. So you need to be like, it's like leading a horse. I recently did this, so I kind of know what it is from firsthand, but we took our daughters to a farm for their birthday. They're twins, and we had them ride ponies, and the staff there just give us the reins of the pony and say, okay, go walk around there. And so we would take the reins of the pony, and I've never really dealt with horses that much, but they kind of told us what to do, just be firm with them. And so the horse prefers to stand around and not move, so you'd pull on the reins and they wouldn't go, and then you could yank on it and they would go. But you could also just keep holding at the same amount of pressure, and eventually they start walking because they don't like that position. And so that's what I did. And then when you're walking them, they kind of go the way you're leading them, but they kind of want to go their own way. And so if they start swerving into you, you just sort of lean back into them, and they steer back away from you. And then if they're going too far, you can sort of gently pull on you have this one lead that only goes on one side, and so you either lean against them and push them to go the other way, or you pull the rein back. If you were riding a horse, you would have both reins, and you could pull either way to gently lead their head the way you want them to go. If you do it too hard, they're going to get mad, and you're going to have trouble getting them to do what you want. They will eventually do it, but it's easier if you just kind of let them do their thing and then gently remind them when you want them to do something else, or if they're just slight corrections. So DMing is like that, where you just need to do slight corrections in a gentle but firm way. And because these are your friends and you want them to have fun, so you steer their fun in the way that's going to lead to more fun. They don't know where the fun is going to lead because they're not really paying attention to well, they might be, but usually they're not really paying attention to where the story is going to end up. They're only paying attention to what they're dealing with at the time. So they tend to be reactionary, and you need to be proactive as a DM to kind of make them, not make them, but steer them in the way that you want them to go. Sometimes they just won't go there. So if they don't really want to go there, that's the time when you got to kind of let the horse go on its own way for a little bit and then drag them back to it later. So if they're going down a way and it seems really good for them, then let them do it. You know, they want to chew on some grass for a bit, let them do it, but then eventually bring them back to task. Okay, and that's what I get out of this episode, is that watching Matt, I'm learning those kind of things about how to subtly steer your group, and from these guys, just watching them do like feedback to their focus is a lot on the audience because they're all actors, so they're feedbacking to each other, and they know that they're in front of an audience, so they're also feedbacking to the audience to indicate to the audience what their characters are feeling, and a lot of times they don't ever say it, and you don't have to. It can be implied. It can be pretty obvious. They're also able to use their expressions. Matt does this a lot. His character role-playing, his face changes every time he does an NPC character. It completely changes. And then he'll snap out of it and say something, and he'll snap right back into it. So that's a cool skill to have as a player or a DM. And if you can get that, that's amazing. But if you're like my stream and I'm not even showing the characters' faces because they don't really want to be on stream visually, so you have to do it all by audio. So that's okay. It just takes a bunch of different skills, and you know, we'll talk about that a bit more in another episode. All right, let's end this with my outro. I haven't got an outro for this show yet, or the D&D yet, but I'm going to work on that soon. And do we got any? We don't have any audience right now, so I am just gonna end it. But normally I would try to find someone else talking about D&D or playing D&D to raid. Okay, but I'm just gonna jump to an outro. So thanks for watching. Excuse me. This will be on my YouTube, so you can catch it there.
When they